Hello. This is episode number 8 of WPSS. My name is David. I am your new host of WPSS. I might as well introduce myself. My name is David. I said that already. I have been affiliated with PSS and, what they were in their prior iterations over many years. I'm a little embarrassed to say, although I shouldn't be. I am, in addition to being a radio presenter as of now, I am an actor, I am a writer, I am an artist generally, let me start again. I do a bunch of different things. But what I wanted to focus on for this broadcast is an area of attention that I feel, even though it seems to be given more attention generally, I feel that, at least at PSS and some other places where I used to work, it's not given as much attention as it could be given, and I feel as it should be given. And this is the area of mental wellness. I'm not a doctor. I am not, officially trained. I have some training in that I have attended a number of workshops at a higher level, not just kind of the casual workshops you'll find on social media. And I have attended workshops not just in the United States but in other countries as well, which is not to say that they're either better or worse, but just to say that over the years I have invested a lot of energy into this, which is not to say that I necessarily know more than someone else, but it does mean that there is a level of commitment that I have applied to this area, and I'm not just someone who saw something on Instagram and is like, okay, now I'm an expert on this. And I'm not saying I'm an expert in any of this, but what I am saying is that my intention for this broadcast, because it seems like I wasn't given a clear directive about what this broadcast needs to be, aside from some parameters regarding advertisements and all those things, which 100% I agree with, and 100% that will be part of it. Because this is not my personal radio station. And I never said it was. But given the opportunity to have a platform through which I can communicate something, and given a certain amount of flexibility. I'm at a place where at one time I might have deferred to authority, and I might have said, someone tell me, what to do. I don't want to screw it up, and I don't want to be accountable for something. I don't want to get in trouble for anything. And now I'm at a place where I feel comfortable and like I have the right to claim in this space that has been the opportunity of which I have been given, that I can say, if I'm given the space here to do with what I may, then I feel that I can decide this is what I want to do. And not just for me, but for others who might be listening. And in a way, my obligation, and I feel it is an obligation, is to myself to share what I feel needs to be shared, as well as an obligation to those who might hear it. I do feel an obligation to others to share what I've learned, because my journey doesn't end with me feeling, okay, I'm okay. Like, I have things under control. I've dealt with my issues. I've dealt with my problems. I know where I'm going. That, for me, I'm not saying that's for anyone else, because it's not my place to tell anyone else what to do. For me, for my process, I decided that it doesn't end with me feeling like I'm now at home, like I'm now centered, and like I know where I've been and where I'm going. But it goes beyond that, because I am not alone in this world, in this universe. There are so many people out there doing all kinds of things and with all kinds of issues. And if I can be of service to anyone, and not just people who might hear this, and not just people whom I might serve directly, but I'm also thinking about the people whom those people are affecting directly and indirectly. So, in a way, I'm talking to you, and I'm talking beyond you. And when I say you, I mean us. I mean everyone. So, by way of introduction, let me just say, welcome to this space that I'm creating, that you're invited to, that we are all invited to. It's not a power thing. It's not my space and you're invited to it. It's our space, and we together have the opportunity, I think, to do something where what we create by our interaction, this is a two-way thing. Even though I'm speaking and you're listening, this dynamic is something that we can direct in a way that allows for my intention for this space to be submitted, offered in a way that allows whatever energy is around and whatever the universe is going to receive and process from that intention, because all I can control, all any of us can control, is what we decide to do, and to kind of bottle that intention and then offer it, and then after that it's out of our hands. And what I've noticed in my life, I'm not speaking for anyone else, in my experience, when I release anything that extends beyond my area of control, which simultaneously, interestingly, shrinks and expands. And I think you'll understand that at some point, hopefully, as you progress to a certain level. I think, and it's so interesting, guys. It's so interesting. But in a way, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is, okay, let me focus. I'm sorry. This is stuff that it's like living in this stuff. Okay, I feel like right now we've just achieved like a new level of connection. I feel, okay, this is so weird. Oh my God. This is so exciting. Wow, I'm in a really weird, this is crazy. So I'm starting to cry a little bit. This is so weird. Wow, I can't believe it. And I'm glad you guys are experiencing this with me. I usually never cry in front of people, or, well, I mean, I'm not in front of you, but you know what I mean. I feel like, okay, in a way, I kind of just want to start again. Because, wow. Okay. I feel like something just happened here, and even though this is audio, and you can't see me, I think you can, like, hear what's happened. Wow. I'm sorry, and I'm not gonna pause the recording. I'm not gonna stop it. Because this is bigger than me. This is bigger than us. And, oh my God, this is so... Wow. Oh my God. I know it sounds like I'm crying, but I'm smiling. I'm simultaneously, I don't know if there's a word for that. Simul crying. Smile crying. Okay, however the wordsmiths are. Combine like smiling and crying with simultaneous. Excuse me. And I'm coughing. You can add coughing to that. I'm just kidding. Wow, is there a word like smile crying? Smile, I don't know, anyway. Um, okay, so this is it. Do you get it? This is what is, this, oh my god, because I was just talking about having an intention, and then, sorry, I just need to, I was just talking about having an intention and releasing it and not being attached to what follows, and that the universe will respond. Whatever you don't believe in universe, whatever your thing is, whatever it is that's out there, that's going to respond. And it's so interesting because at the same time that I was talking about like limiting, like however much your intention is, even the smaller amount of the intention and the more you release, eventually more comes back. And my intention for, wow, this is so powerful. My intention, oh my God, I'm crying. I look like a crazy person. Somebody walks by. They're like, who is that crying in the car? Me again. Why are you walking by my house? No, I'm just kidding. Oh yeah. So, I feel like I just broke through like a I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on this, but I just feel like I broke through like a freaking brick wall. Oh my God, I feel so much better. Because I don't know, and I'm speaking to you guys not as an audience, but I'm speaking to you guys like peers, as though we're like friends on the same level right now. Right now, like this is how I would talk to my friends. And I'm going to be super honest, and I don't even know what's going to happen. I'm just going to let it freaking go. And you know what? I'm going to say the word fuck, because I don't give a fuck. Okay? And if they have to censor it, fine, whatever. But, because I feel like this is all part of it, you know? Like, this is all part of it. Like, what better way I was talking about obligation and, like, responsibility. If I have an obligation to share something with you, and if I can do it through showing it, then fucking so be it. And if I'm going to be censored, I don't care what the fuck. That's right, I said that word. I don't care. Because if a way, not the only way, if a way that I can show you something that I am trying to communicate is by being in it, is by me doing it, and not just by me talking like clinically, like a fucking, like a lecturer. If that's how I can communicate it to you, is by me being in it, no matter how it looks, no matter how messy it is, no matter if I'm crying or doing like whatever ugly shit. And it's not ugly, it's beautiful. There's nothing ugly about authentic expression of your feelings. And if anyone shames you about that, then, well, okay, that's going to be a whole other episode about shame, and probably another 50 fucking episodes. But whatever. Where was I? And you know, it doesn't even matter where was I, because I'm in it right now. I'm in it, so I'm not keeping track. Okay. But where I was that I was talking about intention and releasing, and I feel, I'm going to be super honest with you right now, I could easily go back and edit this, but I'm going to tell, the editors, do not edit this. Do not edit this. Except unless you need to change the cursor or something like that. And also, do not edit this. I want this to be 100% raw. 100%. From beginning to end. Because in the beginning, I don't know if you could tell, but I felt it as I was doing it, but there was nothing I could do, because I started this multiple times. I wanted to get it right. And there was a part of me, perfectionism part of me, that had an image, I think, of what I wanted to be, and which is nothing wrong with that, because it's important to have an image, to have an intention of where you're going, what you're doing with it. And in fact, when you begin anything, we were talking about intention earlier in the episode, I don't know if you remember, but I was talking about intention. Like, the first thing you need to do, you need to have an intention. Because otherwise, you're like a ship out to sea without a rudder, without sails, and you're just fucking drifting. So in order to go anywhere, you have to have an intention. And I had set an intention. I had a whole checklist of things that I was going to do for the broadcast. And I started again. And I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And I felt, and my intention was to present as like super strong and like authoritative and clear, because not for something like my own image or what I care, although there might be, okay, part of it might be that, but because I felt that that would be the best way to serve the listener, is for me to present, authoritatively, and because I feel, I could be wrong, but I feel that the information that I provide, that I can provide, whether I do provide it or not, is up to you. As far as your perception of what you're receiving from me. But I can only set the intention that I want to provide the best information that I have gotten the hard way. I guarantee you, I kid you not, over years I have been learning these things. And some through books, through lectures, podcasts, workshops, videos and other stuff, and experience, life fucking experience, okay? Years. I won't say how many years, not that there's shame involved, but that's something I have to work on, because I want to leave my personal business outside of this space, classroom, I don't know, whatever you call it. I don't know how you see me as a teacher or how you see me as a lunatic, it's fine. You're like, okay. But I want to separate my personal situation from these broadcasts, which are not about me. They're about you. They're about you individually, each one of you. As human beings, as I see you. I see you. Oh my God, I see you, like letter I, letter C, letter U. That's so powerful. This is kind of like an intensive care unit for your emotion, your spirit. Okay, but again, that's the key word, for you. It's not for me. I deal with my own stuff. I've dealt with my own stuff. God knows I'm going to have more stuff to deal with in the future at some point, probably. And I'll deal with it then. But that's for me to deal with in my space, personally. Separated from this as a professional thing where I'm communicating, and it's not about me, it's about you guys. It's about each and every one of you, because I see you. I really see you. It's like I see you. I see you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you need, but I see you, like in a real sense, and I respect you guys. And because of that, I'm going to separate any kind of my personal stuff, story-wise, but as far as information that I've learned, information that I've received and processed and heard, because often you think you're hearing something, but you're not listening, or vice versa. I don't remember. Whatever the one is where where it actually like affects you. And God knows there's been many times where I've been told the same thing, or read the same thing, and I'm like, interesting. But it's not until something or some day later where it lands. And I mean lands like a fucking sledgehammer. And you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who are out there, you hear a lesson a million times, like, okay, whatever. But then one day, and you may not even be in any context where anything related is happening, but you fucking get it. It lands. Anyway, the point is that all that information that I've learned, that's what I want to transmit to you. Not personal stuff, but as far as what I'm going through right now, I feel like it's important for me as a teacher, however you see me, I'm as a guru, as a whatever. I'm not laying claim to any titles, and I'm not saying that I'm any of those things, because I'm not going to presume to say that. It's not my place. It's for the student, the follower, whatever, to decide. And it could be, you could decide that, the male person is your teacher of the day. So it has nothing to do with anything. But so what I feel obligated to do is that when I'm experiencing something real and human, I want to be vulnerable. I want to be exposed. I want to show. I want to be, not to show actively, like this, like look at this. but I want to at least be available to be seen. I want to expose myself in that way as far as to be seen. So that as you're, like, if you're driving by on the fucking highway of emotions and you see a car crash and I'm that car crash, I don't want to have a fucking police tent covering me. Okay? Because that's something real. And that's something that you need to see metaphorically as a driver going by, because you can learn something from it. And I'm not going to cover my wounds, my viscera. It's not shameful. I'm not going to cover it because, first of all, there's nothing wrong with that. I am who I am, and what happens, happens, and that is okay. Secondly, as a teacher, if you could learn something, again, we're still in the fucking metaphor of driving, and I mix metaphors. I apologize. What are you going to do? That's life. I'm not feeling ashamed about it. You guys can figure out the fucking metaphors. You're all fucking smart. I know it. You are. So if you're driving by on the highway of emotions in life and you see me in a car crash, tangled up, if you're seeing that, first of all, there's no shame in that, so I have no reason to feel bad. What happens, happens, and who sees it, sees it. On top of that, if that can help you be like, oh my God, I have to drive slower, or oh my God, clearly there's something that I need to be aware of on this road because I see what that person went through. And if that can help you, if that can save your life, if that can save your life by just seeing me fucking mangled on the side of the road, then great. Then there's no more that I could ask for. I mean, obviously I'd ask to not be mangled on the side of the road, but I'm saying that if that did happen, right, because it happens all the time. How many times during a given day are we fucking mangled, micro-mangled, sometimes mega-mangled, right? How many times? It happens all the fucking time. Sometimes literally, usually figuratively, usually internally, usually a mental thing. But the point is that I do not want to be someone where something's happened to me or is happening to me, inside me, something maybe I'm doing to myself, okay? When we're mangled, when we're hurt, it's not always something external. Sometimes it's something external, like fucking Alien, where something external has invaded your system, and now it's in you, and now you're fucking generating these problems, and you have to deal with that, regardless of where or how. The point is, when I'm going through something, I want you guys to be able to see it, because I want to be an example of that it's okay to go through things. It's okay, guys. Okay? You guys are crazy to think that it's not. I'm not saying you're crazy, and I'm not saying that that's what you think. I'm just saying, if you think that, I have an opinion that is in a different arena of what we're talking about, okay? I'm not saying right or wrong, okay? Point is that I think I started this episode coming from a certain place. I had an intention, and, you know, it came from a good place. And also, I had some nerves, because I am a performer, and I'm used to doing things in kind of a professional setting, and I have these expectations of myself. Not your business. That's my personal stuff. But I think I began it in this kind of super rigid way. You could, like, if you listen to this, you could totally hear it. Like, I think I was kind of stilted. My breathing wasn't right, and I was hyper aware of that while it was happening. But I didn't want to stop it because I like restarted this, like I'm not even going to tell you how many times I restarted it because it's embarrassing. But I wanted to do it, and that's one lesson, okay? Oh my God, this day where I was just going to fucking introduce myself is a day of lessons, okay? And that's, you know, if you listen to the prior, Jonathan's earlier podcast, he was a prior host. He's amazing, and I wish him the best. But some of the things that were super interesting, because I was listening to all of them in order to prepare to see what direction I wanted to take this in. As at some point he was talking about lessons. And that's right, this is about lessons. Now granted, my lessons are different from his lessons. I think you can totally agree. And that he was doing his thing, and that was his process and his journey, etc. And he's great. You know, I've seen him around a couple of times. We haven't had that much interaction. But he's great. You know, whatever he's doing is fine. And that was his thing. Okay? It's not better, not worse, whatever. That was his thing. This is my thing. But the point is that one of the things, and sometimes you can see someone doing something and you're like, that's not what I would do, but there might be a couple of things that you can get from it that are great. His process is neither worse nor better than mine, just different. But one of the things that I did listen when reviewing to kind of get a sense of like, what do I want this to be, was something about lessons. And I didn't want to overtly be like, oh God, like the last thing people want to hear, when they want to hear radio, entertainment, whatever, is lessons. But it's so interesting. He's so funny. Oh my God. Because he's like, sometimes, and I don't mean to sound in a weird way, but sometimes like when you see like an animal who is, because animals are like so not self-conscious and they're like all over the place, but sometimes there will be like wisdom. Sometimes they'll do something, or there'll be wisdom in what an animal. And I'm not just saying like an animal from like a circus that like it points its nose. You ask like how many count to something, and like it stomped its hoof or something, because usually that's fake anyway. But I mean, like there's sometimes like you observe in what they do. You observe something like how they might clean themselves or how they might be present, right? So I was listening to his things, and one of the things that popped out was like lessons. Like, yeah, it's lessons. Like, why not? And here, even though in my mind I'm like, oh my God, how boring, right? Lessons. But here, I think these are lessons, that I just let go. I relaxed. And in a way, I think another lesson is that, because I had set the intention of what I wanted this to be, and then I released it. Kind of. I was kind of moving on. You guys, like, when you can hear it, oh my God, you can probably hear, like, I'm super high on. Because I was nervous. There's nothing wrong with being nervous, when you're doing something. That's another lesson. It's okay to be nervous. And you have to do it anyway. Just fucking do it. So I was doing it. I was nervous. And this is so weird. I can't believe it. Like, whatever. And I think that because I sent it out there, I shipped it. I don't know, whatever these gurus talk about, like shipping, just do it. Just ship it, right? Because I could have done like a million versions of this and like never actually done it. And I did like many. I don't want to talk about how many I did. But at a certain point I was like, okay, I need to just do it. And so I did it and I shipped it. And then what the universe did, it stopped me. Right? So like I was doing it. You can hear it. You can rewind. And it stopped me. And it was like, this is not you. Right? It was like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know who you're being right now. But this is not David. Okay? This is David putting on a mask, doing something, whatever he does. As a professional actor, you need to learn, you need to be able to do these things, right? But it also depends on the context. Do I want this to be a performance? To an extent, I'm presenting, I'm doing something professional. It's a performance in a sense. That's all right. But is that what I want it to be? And interestingly, I might have had an idea of what I wanted it to be, but allow it to be something else, right? So I was struck by that, and granted, many times in my life I've been struck by things, literally and figuratively, and I wasn't able to let go. Something happens, and I'm like, no, I'm not letting go. But through years of therapy, workshops, doing things, like I learned when to let go, and you have to be present enough to do that, right? You have to be aware of what's happening, because if you're operating unconsciously, then you're just going to continue doing something unconsciously. You're just going to continue going into automatic mode, no matter what happens. It's crazy. It's crazy the things that people do, the things that happen to people, and they'll still do it. They'll still do the exact same thing, because A, they're not aware of it. They're not present. And B, sometimes when something happens to you, it can make it worse. Especially if you're operating in a certain way where you're like a persona or something, and as a defense mechanism, or as a reaction to pain, it's usually pain, hello, as a reaction to that, either childhood or relationships or whatever. And so sometimes people are like, well, if something happens to them, then they're going to change, they're going to lose all that charade of whatever. But they don't realize that charade, all that face, that persona that they're doing comes from a place of pain. So what do you think more pain is going to come from, is going to lead to, rather. Or it comes from a place of chaos. Like if you're raised in a household where there's chaos, pain, whatever, you develop this shield, which is your personality in reaction to pain and shame. And so later when people are like, oh, well, what if more pain and more chaos and more shame comes, then they're definitely going to lower the shield, right? Because I just came up with that. I just made that up right now. But I love it. It's brilliant. I'm not saying I'm brilliant. I'm saying that I love that thing, because it's true. It's like someone comes up with something, and a lot of people think that when a lot of people are like assholes, or they got like personality issues, or fucking narcissists or whatever, that they're doing it intentionally, or it's like a weapon or something like that. But it's not. It's fucking armor. It's a fucking shield. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, I can break through this person's narcissism or their personality, their persona, their phoniness or whatever, by just doing some crazy shit or being aggressive or confronting them or something like that. I'm like, hello? Do you know how shields work? Do you know how armor works? Do you think that someone who operates like an armadillo or turtle or whatever the fuck animal has a natural shell, you think that scaring them is going to make them be like, oh, let me just step out of my shell and expose myself completely, which I've never done before in my life, because ever since I was a little, whatever baby turtles are, ever since I was a baby turtle, I instantly grew into a shell, and I've learned unconsciously, automatically, to retreat into it when there's not only danger, but even the slightest, intimation of danger, possible maybe, that I'm going to retreat. So now if someone's being crazy, angry, I'm definitely going to, A, be conscious of it, B, totally relinquish any attachments I have to any defense mechanisms that I've developed over the course of my existence. Sure. So, needless to say, I'm joking. Obviously, that's not going to happen because it's not realistic. Where was I? Okay, well, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But that's it. I'm letting go. So I'm present here. The episode was going in a certain direction because I set that intention. Released it, and then the universe brought me something else. Because I set the intention, I did it. And the point is that sometimes I think a lot of people feel like they set the intention and they expect the universe to deliver exactly what they were intending exactly in a very specific, concrete way. But, okay, so there's so much here. This is so complicated. And luckily we have infinite episodes. Infinite game. So I set the intention, but I allowed, because my intention was not specific, like how does it look, concrete way to receive it. But my intention was more to serve. My intention was more to be present. And I wasn't doing it. And I wasn't succeeding in it. But that's why, the universe received it, said, okay, I hear your intention. It may not be what you fucking meant, right? But I'm going to send back to you what your real intention was, which was to serve, which was to be present, which was to teach, which was to lead, which was to serve. But it's not going to be in that way. It's going to look completely different. And I had to allow for that to happen. And then when it happened, and when I had these emotions come over me, usually in my former days, I would have shut down. I would have turned it away. Oh, this is what we're talking about, the shell and the shield and all that shit. Not shit. I mean, it's all very valuable stuff. You know what I mean? I curse a lot. I'm sorry. What are you going to do? Okay, that's me. And that ordinarily, when I felt that coming, I would have just unconsciously shut down or whatever. But I just let it go. I let it through me. And I could have turned off this device, but I didn't. I was like, don't you dare. This is what it is. This is the real stuff. If you want to sign up to deliver to the world something that the world needs, it's the real, it's authentic, it's this moment. And I let that moment go, and I let it go through me. I didn't try to control it. I just let it be. I let it exist. And I'm glad you guys were there. And in a way, if you guys were not there, it wouldn't have happened. It's because you guys are here with me right now. That's why it happened. because it was like all these emotions, and it was probably the combination of like wanting to serve and pressure and a lot of my own personal stuff, which I'm not going to include, which has nothing to do with anything. I deal with my personal stuff. I deal with it. Okay? Trust me. I deal with it. I leave it at home. It's separate from here. This space is not about me. It's about you. Individually. You and you and you. All of you. I see you. You're real. You exist. You're valuable. I care about you. You're doing amazing. All of you. I know you are. I know you are. I know you individually. By name. By name. Okay? Obviously not. But I know that you're doing amazing. I know that you're special. I know that that you are struggling occasionally. Some of you more often than others. But I know that you guys have the strength to make it through whatever you're going through. And I want this, whatever this is, I want this to be a journey that we're on together. And we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about, mental issues, mental illness, as well as mental wellness. We're going to talk about some personality disorders, a lot of things that I'm seeing in the culture nowadays. Narcissism is huge everywhere, unfortunately. It's a huge topic in so many things, I think, because it's real, it's present, it affects many lives. We're going to talk about health and wellness, fitness, some of the things that I have a lot of, I'm not going to say expertise in, but I know a lot, I've studied a lot. And some things that I honestly don't know much about, and somewhere in the middle. And I'm going to be totally transparent about it, and authentic, and truthful, and present. And if there's something that I'm not an expert on, I will have experts on, or I'll interview people. And this will be a formless shifting. I'm deciding right now, I'm deciding. I did have a clearer something, and I had a more ridged outline I worked on for a really long time. But I'm going to throw that away right now at this moment in time. Record it. Set it. I'm deciding that it's not even a show. It's whatever. That this journey, this process, it sounds so cliche to say journey, but whatever. It's a fucking journey. What's not a journey? So I'm going to decide that this is going to be a formless, effortless, but effortful. There's a balance there. We can talk about that at some point. We should talk about that at some point because it's important. And exploration. We'll see. And it's not even a journey as in a journey with a set destination. It can be, maybe it's not a journey. It'll be a meandering, an ambling. Okay? And we'll see. We'll see where it goes with zero intention, zero expectation, aside from the intention of growth, aside from the expectation of progress, process, growth, because that is not in like a modern Western kind of capitalist growth, progress kind of obsession, but in like the nature of progress, growth doesn't change, neither good nor bad, just change, evolution, because that is the nature of the universe. Atoms fucking bouncing around. Okay, so on that, I'm gonna go. And I'm so honored to meet you guys. I'm so honored to be here. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. I feel so blessed. I'm so honored that you would give your time to hear me. I feel I'm humbled. I'm so humbled. I'm so humbled. I am so humbled that you would even stick around to listen to the crazy things that I'm saying. It means so much. And I'll see you next time. Amazing. Amazing.